Hi, I'm Carla Schaefer, Auntie Speeds designer, and I'll be demonstrating how to use memory wire. I'm going to go over the list of tools and supplies I'll be using for this project. I'm going to be making a bracelet, so I'm going to be using a memory wire bracelet large. This just happens to be the silver plate, but it also comes in the regular wire. And I'm also going to be using two types of check glass beads. I'm going to be using a 12mm round check glass bead and a 4mm, and I'm going to be using 6/0 seed beads in a complementary color. For tools, you will need a pair of memory wire shears or a pair of wire cutters that you might find in your garage. You do not want to use your nipper tool or regular wire cutting tool for this memory wire. And I'm also going to be showing how to curl the ends, make loops on the ends of the wire using the wire looping tool. In this project, I'm going to be making a 5-coil bracelet. So we're just going to cut the coils. I'm going to show you how to cut 5 coils, but I did want to again go over the reason why you need to use a memory wire shear. This is a tempered wire that keeps its shape, and it's very, very hard, and it will ruin your regular wire cutting tool or nipper tool. So that's why you need to use a memory wire shear or at least a pair of old wire cutters. So what I'm going to do is, this is my end, and I want 5 coils. So I'm just going to count. So here's my end. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then what I want to do is just kind of cut it even. And it doesn't have to be exact, and depending on how many beads you string, you may end up cutting some excess off anyway. So now that I've got my coil cut, I'm going to show you how to loop the first end so that we can start stringing our beads. This wire looping tool is actually one of my favorite tools, and it has a graduated round nose tip right here and a concave upper jaw, and this allows you to make different size loops depending on where you place it on this lower jaw. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the pliers, wait a minute, I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to place it just on the tip, and I'm going to mash down so that it takes that and makes it up into the concave part of the upper jaw, and I'm just going to rotate it. And I'm just going to get it, I want it to go around at least twice, so we make a little coiled loop here on the end. And so we've made a loop here, and then we can start stringing our beads. The first thing you need to do is just kind of determine the pattern that you want to string these on, or just string them randomly. I did have just somewhat of a pattern, so I'm just going to take one of the round 4mm, and I'm going to string 3 seed beads, and that's in a random color order, and then a round 4mm, and then I'm going to string on one of the larger beads. And this is going to be basically my pattern throughout. So then I'm going to do another 4mm next to the large bead, 3 seed beads, a 4mm round, 3 seed beads, and then I'm going to do a 4mm round and 3 seed beads in the center, and then start with the 12mm again. This is just a random pattern that I've picked out. It's not, this just kind of spaces out the larger seed bead. Oops, I strung too many beads on there. And this is all you do all the way down the coil. So now what I'm going to show you is that I've got it started, and as you can see, this all coils back into the coil. As I said, it keeps its memory. So all I'm going to do is just slide these beads down throughout the coil and just continue this pattern until we get to the end of the wire. Okay, now that I've got all the beads strung, and basically what I've done is I've stopped when I used my last large bead, and I finished the pattern how I started it, which was this 4mm round, 3 3 seed beads, and then another 4mm round. So now I have probably about an inch and a half left, and I don't need that much wire to make my coil. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut maybe about a 1/2 inch of it, And then I'm going to show you again how to coil the end of the wire using the wire looping tool. Okay, now that I'm going to coil this end. Now that we're finished and complete, we've cut the end of the wire. All I'm going to do is I'm going to take the tip of the pliers and the wire. I want it to overlap somewhat so that the top of this jog will grab it and bend it down. So press down, and then all I'm going to do is just coil, just move the pliers and coil the wire at the same time until I get it down to the bead. And then all I do is remove it, and I've got a coil. And you may have a little tail hanging out like this, and all you need to do is take your chain nose pliers and tap it down.